on the porch here at Grandview UMC. I'm Pastor David, and I'm going to walk through reading each of the stations of the cross. As I read each of those, you're invited to hear the scripture reading, reflect on the image, and then say the following prayer. Lord, forgive me, for I have sinned. If you want to join us in person, you're able to come down here at 2315 Phelps Avenue anytime today between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. and walk through at your leisure. Now, as I am outside today, you might hear noise in the background. And just remember that even when Jesus was crucified, there was also everyday noise and commotion happening all around him. So let's get started. Luke 22:39-44. And when he came out and went as he did to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples also followed him. And when he was at the place, he said to them, "Pray that you do not enter into temptation." And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast away, and kneeled down and prayed. And he said, "Father, if you be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." And there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and sweat was beginning to fall from his head down to the ground. Matthew 26:47-51. And while he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves, from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now that he had betrayed and gave him a sign, saying, "Whomsoever I kiss, he is the one." And he came to Jesus and he said, "Hail, Master," and kissed him. And Jesus said unto him, "Do what you have come to do." And they came and laid hands on Jesus and took him. And behold, one of them who were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. And then Jesus said unto him, "Put away your sword, for all that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Do you not think that I cannot pray to my Father, and he shall give me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then will the scriptures be fulfilled?" In that same hour Jesus said to the multitudes, "Are you to come out against a thief and sword and take me? I sit daily with you teaching in the temple, and no one laid hands on me. But all this was done, that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled." Then all the disciples deserted him and fled. Mark 14:61-64. But he held his peace and answered nothing. Again the high priest asked him, "Are you the Christ?" the Son of God? And Jesus said, I am. And I shall be sitting at the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest tore his clothes and said, What need for any more witnesses do we have? You have heard him speak of this blasphemy, and they have all condemned him to be guilty of death. John 18:33 through 37. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again, and he called Jesus and said unto him, Are you the king of the Jews? Jesus answered him, Do you say this on your own, or did others tell you about me? Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Your own nation and the chief priests had delivered you unto me. What have you done? Jesus answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then I would have my servants fight, and I should be delivered, but I should not be delivered unto their hands. But my kingdom is not of this world. Then Pilate answered, So you are a king then? And Jesus said, You say that I am king. To this end I was born, for this cause I came into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth hears my voice. Mark 15:6 through 15. Now at the feast he released unto them one prisoner, whoever they desired. And there was one named Barabbas, which lay bound with them, and had made insurrection, who had committed murder in the insurrection. And the multitude began crying out and wanted Barabbas. But Pilate answered him, Shall I answer the king? Shall I release the king of the Jews? For he knew that the chief priests and the leaders had delivered Jesus for envy. But they moved the people so that they should rather want him to release Barabbas. And Pilate answered and began and said unto them, What shall I then do with the one you call King of the Jews? And again they cried out as a group, Crucify him. Then Pilate said, Why? What evil has he done? And they cried out the more exceedingly, Crucify him. And so Pilate, willing to content the people, released Barabbas and delivered Jesus, who had been scourged, to be crucified. John 19:5. Then Jesus came forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate said unto him, Behold this man Jesus, whom he had scourged, to be crucified. John 10:17-18. And Jesus says, "Does my Father love me because I lay down my life, that I might take it up again? No one may take it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. This command I received from my Father." Luke 23:27. And as they led Jesus away, they laid upon him one Simon out of the country, and on him they laid the cross, that he might Jesus. Luke 23:27-31. And there followed him a great company of people and of women, which were wailing and lamented for him. But Jesus, turning to them, and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. Behold, the days are coming in which you shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bare, and the paps which never gave suck. Then when they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and on the hills cover us. For if they do these things in the green tree, what shall be done when the tree is dry?" Luke 23:33-34. When they were come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him, and the malefactors one on the right and one on the left. Then Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. And they parted his remnant and cast lots. Luke 23:39-43. And one of them who were crucified with him began to say, If you are the Christ, save us. But the other answered and rebuked him, saying, Do you not fear God, seeing that you are in the same condemnation? And we indeed are justified for our punishment, for we receive the due reward for our deeds. But this man has done nothing. And he said unto Jesus, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, I tell you, today you shall be with me in paradise. (19:25b-27). Now there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother, and his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciples standing by, whom he loved, he said unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Then he said to the disciple, Behold your mother. And from that hour the disciple took her into his own home. John 19:28 to 34. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, said, I thirst. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon the hyssop, and put it to his mouth. When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished. To let us die. And he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. The Jews therefore, because it was a day of preparation, that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, came to Pilate and broke his legs, that he might be taken away. Then the soldiers came and broke his legs, one of the first and one of the other, who were crucified with him. But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was already dead, they broke not his legs, but one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and out came blood and water. John 19:38 to 42. After this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the leaders, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. And Pilate gave him permission. He came therefore and took the body of Jesus. And there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to Jesus by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100-pound weight. Then they took the body of Jesus, and wound it in linen cloths with the spices, as the manner of the Jews were to bury. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden a new sepulchre, where no one had ever been laid. They laid there the body of Jesus, because it was the day of preparation.